Good evening, guys. Listen, this is the second day out of our 12 days of Christmas. Okay, so I'm going to move some things around because it's going to be crazy for a minute. So we're going to do this Santa Claus that came in the kit. We're going to decoupage him right here on this page. Is he not adorable? So I want him right there. And I have a few little pieces of this strip right here that I want to use, you know, as a scrap to put right there. This comes off of another napkin that I just happen to have. Okay, so let's get started. I want to get going so we can get this all done and see if we have time to do a second one like we did before. I'm picking up the wrong brush. Okay, now we're going to use Mod Podge because that's my favorite way to do it. You guys know that about me. Oh, of course, you know, I always put a lot on here. And I'm going to get this all nice and wet first with the Mod Podge before actually putting the napkin on here. I just feel like that works the best for me. Some people don't do that. Some people do sections. And I'm just putting the whole thing on because I think he needs the whole thing. He's so cute. One of my favorite things about the kit was this Santa. So I was looking forward to doing him. So when I do decoupage, I try to do a couple. So we'll do 2. And if we have to do more down the road, we will. Right? So this little guy's going to fit just right on the page. He was a perfect fit. And that's great. Get them all laid out here. Nice and straight. And let's put this little piece on here as well so that it fills in that one little bare spot at the top. Yeah, there we go. So this should not be difficult, right? Just put it on here and brush it on. Now we're going to go ahead and wet the top. You want to be careful. Start from the middle and work your way out so you don't have as many wrinkles in his face. He's probably already wrinkled enough. You know how most Santas are not young. Most Santas have gray hair or white hair, which comes right after the gray usually. Not on everybody. I think white-haired people's hair is stunning. Me, on the other hand, I'm so dark-headed that all you'll ever see out of me is gray. And I used a new lady, and I asked her, showed her what I was using prior to coming to Branson. And she told me she had that product. I don't think it was identical. It was probably some off-brand or something, you know. You never know. Everybody uses a different company, you know. Some use what is that called? Paul Mitchell. Some use, you know, I could go on and on, but can't remember them all. And so you don't, you know how it's going to work. Well, mine, it didn't stay on my hair 3 weeks. I have this big old gray line right now, which I'm not happy about because I'm glad no one I know has to see that, because honestly, it looks pretty pitiful. So I'm trying to get around this edge. I want to make sure that he doesn't come off, you know, out of any space here. And I feel like he's on here pretty good. I didn't do great on the one corner, but that's okay. Now I'm going to put the brush in the water. Okay, now, because we need this to dry, right? I'm going to go ahead and use my glue gun. That is crazy. I'm going to go ahead and use my heat gun. That makes more sense, doesn't it? And I'm going to dry this Santa right up. If you don't want to hear this part, just turn your volume down or fast forward. Oh my goodness. Come on, Santa, dry. I got him really wet, like he is stuck to this paper. So we probably should get him off of there, shouldn't we? Oh, lovely, lovely. Don't mess up my Santa. It's because my paper, I should have took the paper out. It had just a little bit too much Mod Podge on there. I'm going to dry this in the back too. Don't have to worry about this back sheet because we'll just put something on there and it'll take care of the little tear right here. It's a thin layer. Now, you gotta put stuff in front and behind anything you Mod Podge until it completely, totally dries, okay? Or it will attach to whatever, okay? So, I'm going to trim this little guy off on the edges. And then let's put this under too. So, this silicone mat, Ranger makes them. They come 4 times this size. I use this for my Bible journaling, my art journaling in my Bible. Okay. All right, there we go. Clean that up. That didn't take much, did it? So there we have Santa all nice and dry. Okay, so on this side, I want us to do, let me get this mess over here out. Don't want my brushes to run while we're doing this. Okay. So I have this is going to be our red Santa. We're going to have a couple red Santas, even though this book has a lot of pink Santas as well. Okay, so on this side over here, I'm just going to let this go down. I have this little journaling card. I thought we could use it as a pocket. Now, I have not inked everything because we have enough time usually to do that in our videos, right? I'm going to use this journaling card as a pocket. So that'll work out great. Now we are going to have some pink even on our Santas that are red because this is the ink that we're using throughout the book. I don't like to change up the ink because you just don't know what you'll end up with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ink this little tag, big tag. I'm just going to ink around it with a little bit of the Lawn Fawn something rose. Wild Rose. And it's the dye inks. And I'm just using a finger dauber, and it really makes inking faster. They don't last all that long if you use them a lot, but they do make inking lots faster and more accurate, I think. Because you don't have a big space. You're not working a big space. Now on this tag, there we go. I'm gonna bring out this other portion here. This is a holiday card. I'm gonna ink the back. It's for some Christmas game. And it's kind of like a trivia, it looks like. But the back is a nice area here to go on and journal. And it is red, and it has an ornament here. It's the Santa Claus movie. That's cool, huh? We're gonna do it like this. And let me ink this up. No, wait a minute. That's not gonna be in there, I don't think. But we are gonna use this little Santa. And we'll ink him a little bit, because he might blend when he touches other things. He's gonna go right there. And let's do the Merry Christmas tag, little name tag. This one says Merry Christmas. We can tuck that under and use it like a sentiment. Now here is the number 2 for day 2. Awesome. All right, and I'm going to pop that up too, so we'll have that ready to pop up soon. Got this little ornament here, which I thought would go nicely. This is off of a Christmas card I got this afternoon, and I just liked that it said Happy Holidays right there. Yeah, so for now, we're going to close this up, and I think I'm going to use a red ink. Let me grab it. Rather than a pink, we'll use a red. Well, it's close to red. It's as close as we're gonna get right here. Okay, now I thought we'd stamp on this. I'm gonna go ahead and stick this foam on this little circle number 2, so I don't lose it. Okay, and we can set it aside for right now. We'll put all of these things to the side except what we're going to be working on first. Okay, now let's go ahead and stamp this little guy. Whoops, there went my ticket flying across the table. How's that happen? Now I have a really vintage style Santa right here. And I think he'll look cute on this tag. So we're gonna, whoops, we're gonna put some red on here. I need to do it the other way because this is an ode tag. When you use, an ode stamp, when you use ode stamps, they get sticky, even though I clean my stamps. Yeah, you heard me. I do clean my stamps. Now I'm gonna put him right here, kind of in the center, and he is going to be some type of red. How cute is he? He is really cute. Now I'm going to stamp on there a sentiment of some sort. We've got Merry Christmas, have a swell Christmas. How about holiday wishes? Well, it won't fit up there. I'd rather do Merry Christmas because we can do that with two separate stamps. And these are pretty new. I mean, they're new, but that one stamp has been used to death. I kid you not, we have used it and used it and used it. Okay, there is Christmas. And there is, I gotta look because it's hard to tell. Okay, there's the Mary. Okay, now I'm gonna set that to the side. We're gonna get Mary on there first. Let me get this Santa back up here where you can see the little guy. Now, this stamp has never been used. This Merry Christmas has not, but it looks like it's inking very nicely. So let's go right here. And I'm going to see if I can get Mary right there. Yay! Now, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side with Christmas. Guys, if you don't have the archival inks, the little ones, oh my gosh, you're missing out. I love using these inks because they're handy. Okay, so we're going to put Christmas right here and hope that it will look all right. Pretty good, huh? It's not perfect. I should have had the Santa over a little bit. But, you know, that's how it is whenever you're stamping. You don't know unless you practice it. And I sure didn't. So I'm going to get a wipey out to wipe off the stamps. Because who knows, next time we may use the pink. Or the green or whatever. And I'm going to leave them on here. In case we want to use them again. Okay. So there they go. Right there. Now, put the lid back on your ink. Don't want to get that all messed up for sure. If I can get it back on here. There we go. Okay. So now let's do, this little guy's going to be drying right here while we finish this. So we want to put our pocket on. You want to do as thin of a thin line as you can because we want that tag to go in there. Actually, we're going to put 2 tags in there. And in order to do that, you got to make sure, whoops, it's like I'm just rolling right off of there with my glue. Silly. Okay, now we're going to put it right here on this page, on the bottom, right center, as low as you can. There we go. So I want to do this little Merry Christmas right here like this. And I want to put this little Santa right over it. Looks cute like that, doesn't it? So we're going to glue down this old vintage tag. You can buy these remakes now, but it's fun to use these old ones on our journals. Okay, gonna let that go right there, and then we'll cover Santa over the blanks portion. And this Santa comes from Hobby Lobby. You can buy these in a package. I know I've bought them before, but this one was in the kit. Everything I'm using right now is in the kit. The napkin. Oh, except for the journaling card. I did pull that out of my stash. And there is the Santa. They look a lot alike, don't they? They sure do. So this is going to be number 2. Do we want to put it there or right here? Or maybe up here. We'll wait a minute to decide. Now, we've got this little guy, and I thought we would do red and green tickets. And we'll just staple them on right up here on the right side. Get my tiny attacher. Oops, excuse me. All right, I'm going to go just like this. Hope this isn't going to cause me grief. Well, it actually worked. Try it again, huh? Okay, so we've got this little trivia card that will go right in here, and it will fit. We just have to wait and make sure, you know, of where we want to put it. Now, on this little Santa, I'm going to take let's see if I can find my a red pen. See if I can get enough red out to do his little lips and his little hat. You never know, your pens run out on you. You know how that goes. And I'm going to also do his little nose because, I don't know, they look like their little nose is red and cold all the time. And his little lips. Probably pink would have been more like it, but I wanted to do it red. And then here we're going to just kind of do a stripe like that, and we can go back and fill it in should we decide to. Sometimes it's fun just to do like a scribble to color in the Santa. See, isn't he cute? Okay, now we can go back the other way and do a little scribble. Try to stay off of his hair. There we go. All right, so we've got him all ready. Okay, now he's also going to go in there, but first we need to put some fibers. Okay, now we're going to have to use some green fibers because we don't have any red ones this week. But we do have a big chunky green one. Look at that. Fun. So, I'm going to cut a piece of that off. I'm going to slip it right through. Right here. And you know, this would be a fun one to do some faux stitching around. Now, I have not got the stitching done on the other one because I thought I'd wait and stitch them all at one time. You know, change my bobbin out and get them all stitched at one time. Now, if we have a green, and we do, let's just do some faux stitching really fast around this little guy. This little tag. Now, those are two different greens, but in this situation, I don't care. My book, I can do it like I want, right? And I will definitely do my journaling after the book is done. I'll go back on the days if you want to ever do that, you take notes of what happened on what day. And then you can go back and write it in your journal. One more side right here. Yeah, one more here. Just like that. Okay, so now, as soon as that pocket dries, we can put our tags in. We've got two tags. We can do it like that. We can do it like this. You know, we can get them both in here. There we go. Now, I think we'll put this little guy I really want that to be more red. So I am going to break my rule. It's too pink for this red page. Don't you agree? I think it is. Let me get my green. Get my dauber out. There is a green dauber. I can never remember which way to push these things to get this to open. That's crazy. We may not get our little dauber out. There we go. Goodness. I thought, is it gonna open? It didn't appear to be ready to open. Okay, so I'm gonna get my green right here. And this is a different green too. We actually have two greens, but let's use the light one and see what it will look like going over this little thing. It may give us a kind of weird green. Yeah, you need to look before you ink this and make sure. Yeah, it's not going to be the most beautiful green. Kind of looks yucky, doesn't it? I say we go over it even again with a darker green. I don't like that either. Let me get it. I'll get a darker green. This is like a hunter green. And I am putting it over this same dauber because I don't like the color that was on it last. Yeah, that's better. That's what I'm talking about. Put it on here dark. And it's okay if a little bit of it bleeds through. It kind of gives it character. Gives it more character. Okay. Now, let's get this glued down. Come on, come on. There we go. I'm trying to decide. I think we're going to put it up here. Right there. Make sure your number's straight. Okay, now I'm going to get the vellum and try to cover up. If I've got any vellum, I'll put it that way. Usually I do, but I use it every time, so you never know. Okay, so let's put this piece of vellum right here. I'm going to tie this because I don't know that I'm going to put hearts on here since it's Christmas. We'll see. You could do whatever you like. Now we're going to go like this, move this, and save it for the next page that we do. Okay, so we have enough time to do this Christmas page. Now, this came out of my stash. And, you know, I like that we're putting trees in here, right? So I want to gesso over this dark page here, because if we don't, it's not going to look very good. Okay, so we'll just get some gesso, go over the dark. We probably should have done that before before we actually did the other one, so this could have dried. That's all right. We'll just use a heat gun. We're good at that, aren't we? Let me put this paper or silicone under there too, so we don't get anything on here, because I want to also bring the little trees over this page. Okay, All right, so I'm going to put that in the water for now. We don't need any more gesso for now. So, I'm going to set that aside. Whoops! If I don't drop it in the floor. Let's dry this real fast. I've got so much stuff on my desk, it's going everywhere. It doesn't take long for gesso to dry. So that should work out great. This is the second part of day 2, so I'm trying to do two each day. If we start running out, we'll go back to 1 a day. Come on, come on. Got this one where I just like it's a very thin page. Trying to get that big blob off of there. So maybe it'll dry faster. Because I want to use decoupage on this page too. We're going to do Christmas trees on here. Now, I thought about cutting out some triangles and doing trees. But then I happened to think, let me wipe this gesso off so it doesn't get all over our book and all over us in the process. So anyway, I put this back under here. I lost my train of thought when I went over to throw that out. That's how it works sometimes. Let me get my other sheet here. I'm going to put that right there. Then we don't have to worry. Let's let this gesso go a little bit without needing to be decoupaged on. Okay, here we go. Let's get our decoupage all back over here. Now we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. We're going to decoupage across this whole thing and lay our paper down, our napkin. I'm putting a heavy amount of gesso on. Not gesso. I'm getting all confused. I didn't tell you that it is 12:30 at night. So, but it is 12:30 at night. So on this page, we're going to put a napkin that has all trees, and it says Merry Christmas. And that's going to be a great one to put in here. Okay, now let's put our Christmas one here. Now I want to bring it, let's see, how did I do that? I want to line it up where like it goes across from each other, because there's the letter M is on the left side here. So we're going to line it up like this, and whatever we need to add, we can. Okay, so I want to get up under there, make sure that sticks down. All right, now we're going to just, let me get this little part that goes down into the binding so we can get it to stay where it's supposed to stay. All right, now we'll get in the middle. Get that under there. All right. I'm probably getting this all over my little tags. I'm going to move them out of there so they don't get gesso, or I mean, so they don't get any of this decoupage on them. You have to watch that. Okay, now on this one, it's got the gesso over here, but I'm still going to go over it because it's dried now, and put my other trees over here. And when this dries really good, we'll be able to go back and decorate. Might not be in this video, but we'll do it. Okay, there we go. Get some right here. All right, now here we go. By the way, I didn't say this, but I think most of you know this. We need to make sure when we decoupage that we take our napkins and make sure we separate all the plies on it. And you're going to have at least 2, and sometimes you'll have more than that. So just be aware of that. And I'm going to put this little bit right down here. Okay, try to match that up, and I will end up cutting off anything that doesn't go. I'll scoop this up in just a second. There we go, right like that. And I'm gonna put some on the outside. Now I'm going to go back over to the left side and cover it. Doing my circle around the middle. Looks like my my paper underneath is crooked. Which, you know, that can happen. Sometimes the pages will shift whenever they've been decoupaged. Or when they're in a book, they can, you know, sometimes the binding can just not be quite as strong as you think sometimes. Okay, so I think we're on here really good. Now, we're going to want that to dry for sure. And then I'm going to go ahead and close up. I'm getting water everywhere. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close up the Mod Podge. Let me get my lid. You don't want it to get too dried out or thick. I keep a piece of parchment over there, and I keep any kind of heavy stuff off of there as well. Okay, now let's dry real quick and we can move on. I'm going to stop for 1 second so that I can try to separate this paper from the napkin because I don't want it to stick. There we go. Need to wipe this off real quick. The reason I did that was because if I had left it, I could have ended up with my whole decoupage portion ruined. Because, you know, even though this is supposed to nothing's supposed to stick to it, it does. Now, it could or could not run it. Just depends. I haven't had much problems with it, but I don't like to take a chance. I'm always pretty cautious. Okay, now I am going to put this back under there as soon as I kind of hit it with the... Even though I just sewed under this, you can still see some of the paper underneath through it, through your napkin. But that's okay. I don't think that's going to be a problem whatsoever. When you put napkins on both pages, if they close together until it is so dry, they will stick together and it will ruin your decoupage. So always put something non-stick between the two pages. Always dry the back as well, because you know it will come through to the other side. But it's not as big a deal as you might think. Still wet in the binding. Let me get that, and then we'll be done with this portion. I am sorry that took so long, but I will be just quite honest with you. Sometimes it takes longer than other times, but it's still not perfectly dried. So what I'm going to do now is put this between the two of them so they don't stick together, right? Like we just talked about. And then I'm going to trim around this page, because there's going to be a lot of hangover on this particular layout. There's not going to be a whole lot done to this, except, you know, the decoupaging, and I may come back to this page and decide to do something else. But right now, I am liking it just being a Christmas tree. Okay, throw that portion out. Now we'll look here. Look how nice that looks. Woo, liking that, right? Now let's go right here. We're going to do the same thing. Just flip it over on the back side and trim. Now, I will tell you that this is not on perfectly straight because I noticed that the page is not perfectly straight. You know, sometimes you'll get where your pages will not be perfect, okay? There's that. See, like you can see right here that this page on the front is crooked too, which means it probably slid around in the binding where it was binded. Okay, now let's get over here and do this other side. And then that will be done. We want to see it all crisp and clean. Right? Okay, now, moving this away, I want you to see what we've got so far here. Doesn't that look festive? I love that, guys. And I think I'm going to leave it just like that because if not, there is no telling, you know, if I'm going to think about what's going to end up on this page, but we aren't going to do anything at this very moment, okay? So I hope you enjoyed the second day of Christmas. What is it my true love says to me? I don't know. I don't know it. But I thought it'd be fun to do the 12 days of Christmas. So we're not going to be saying any sayings or anything. I'm just letting you know that we're decorating for the 12 days before Christmas. All right, so I'll see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Leave a comment. I'd love to hear from all of you. Let me know when you become a new subscriber. I'd like to welcome you. See you guys next time on day 3. Bye-bye.